Not even a small sized or even mid sized crocodile. But if I tell you that a tiger suffering from bone cancer for almost an year with her frail body has taken down an adult marsh crocodile just 2 days before her death, it will be perhaps difficult for those to believe who are not familiar with what a Royal Bengal tiger is capable of doing. The marsh crocodile, also known as the Magar crocodile, is a powerful reptile with a strong bite force of around 7,300 Newton, while Royal Bengal tigers are estimated to have a bite force of 4,450 Newton. Formidable but nowhere close in comparison to the Magar. Also remember both are pro swimmers. However, crocodiles are much better because they are adept to aquatic life with streamlined bodies, powerful tails, webbed feet, and underwater capabilities, while tigers are adapted to terrestrial life. So now if I tell you that a tigress reduced to her skin and bone, majorly suffering from a malignant tumor on her hind leg with several damaged organs, killed an adult marsh crocodile by venturing into the croc's own vantage ground just 2 days before she breathed her last, I think you will understand why I have decided to talk about this impromptu, even though I had no prior plans to make this video. The struggle lasted just for 1 minute, according to the onlookers, as Arrowhead leaped into the water and took a chunk of meat out from the crocodile's neck before dragging the crocodile inside the jungle. Eyewitnesses say that she had been lying along the water's edge before springing into action in the scenic Padam Talab Lake area of Zone 3, which is just 500 meters away from the Ranthambore fort. And not just one, but several such crocs have been hunted down by the Queen of Ranthambore, Arrowhead, even at her twilight years, within minutes. For avid wildlife lovers, naturally the news of such a legend's demise brought a lot of sorrowless nostalgia. Personally, for me, I got affected because I followed her story from the beginning till she breathed her last near Jogi Mahal in Ranthambore National Park. The famous 384 or Chota Machali, Arrowhead, was the granddaughter of the famous Queen of Ranthambore, Machali, T16, who got so popular among visitors that photographers and visitors all over the world actually, flocked into this Indian forest to watch Machali. During her lifetime, she earned so many titles actually. Machli was called the queen mother of Tigress, as almost half of the tigers in Ranthambore National Park had her genes. Machli defeated many strong male tigers who invaded into her territory or tried to attack her cubs. Out of the many epic battles, the one that captivated the most attention was when Machli defeated in a battle a croc, a 14-foot croc actually. The first instance it happened in Ranthambore. One of the most fierce battle Ranthambore forest has ever witnessed. And many didn't initially believe it's possible. Tigress alone hunted down a full-size croc. Come on, was the croc injured or ill or something? If you are regular at my channel, Out of the Den, you must be smelling a strong similarity with what I experienced at Kaziranga when I got to know that a tigress killed a rhino whose skin has high tensile strength and high breaking point, which means it can withstand significant amount of force before breaking. The incredulity of it all, but in contrast, Kaziranga's tigress was shrouded in mystery, whereas Machli was an all-out celebrity, often walking tall and proud in front of the visitors, earning her the title Lady of the Lakes. Now pay attention to this moniker because it will help you to connect better. Anyway, Machli's daughter, T19, Krishna, is Arrowhead's mother. She had three daughters actually in 2007. T17 or Sundari, T18 and T19, Krishna. This is one of the many litters, right? Now, Sundari replaced Machli from her own territory later and conquered the lake area. Remember, I mentioned about Sundari while talking about the namesake in Bandipur documentary, a forest that still has its Sundari. Now, Krishna was not clever like her own sister, Ranthambore Sundari. She was not smart and people-friendly like her mother, but she knew how to patiently wait for her turn. T17 or Sundari ruled the lake area after coercing the mother out for almost 2 years. After that, she once suddenly mysteriously vanished from the lake. Then Krishna took over the region. Peaceful, unspoken handover, because otherwise, as you know, often tigers break out into huge territorial battle when one tries to claim independence territory. When Arrowhead became slightly big, around 3 years, now she pushed Mother Krishna away from the prime zone 3 to zone 4. Krishna or T19 had to not only make way for this new queen, but also moved and forced to live in an area which was originally belonged to her mother, Machli. While Arrowhead or T84 inherited the responsibility of carrying the legacy of this iconic clan. A new queen arrived at Ranthambore's throne. Who was her father? Krishna mated with a star male or T28 to bring Arrowhead in the world in 2014, the same year when Machli lost battle to Sundari, which eventually cost her territory. Note that Machli was already 16 years old then in 2014 basically, and a tiger's average lifespan is somewhere around 10 to 15 years in the wild. But anyway, the point of the video is not to discuss the lineage of Ranthambore's tigers. The reason of this background information is for you to understand for whom all tiger lovers are now grieving and why. Arrowhead inherited her name from the distinctive arrow-shaped marking on her left cheek. No, it's not the forehead arrow that often resembles with the Chinese character king. In 2018, she gave birth to two cubs, Riddhi and Siddhi. And it was the first time a tigress brought her cubs out in front of the tourists within 10 days of producing the litter. I mean, Machli's granddaughter after all. The showmanship has to be there. But circle of life, by 2020, both Riddhi and Siddhi started challenging Arrowhead and engaged in fierce duels with mother. Both became all out to defeat the mother who brought them this initial fame. And then one day near Malik Talab at Zone 3 of the park, the unthinkable happened. Tigress Riddhi, also known as T124, has successfully hunted down a crocodile and were filmed feasting it with her cubs. Riddhi already had cubs then. She was having the croc meat with her three cubs. The same ambushing technique learned from her mother. Machali had this original nickname as Crocodile Killer, followed by Arrowhead, and the legacy now seems to be alive with this Daredevil act. This is notable for wildlife researchers because for the first time in the same iconic bloodline, three tigers did the unthinkable and repeated the same act. And note, all are female tigers, where generally male tigers are stronger and much more aggressive. Then, with her illness ravaged body, when each step she took was marked by heavy, painful limp, Arrowhead maintained her supremacy and conquered death many times until she had no reason to fight. She showed a fire undimmed by age, a fierce reminder that one must never surrender or bow down without fighting to natural cycles, even when all feels lost. I think Arrowhead got this partly from Machali, who, even in her old age, was too proud to actually accept food from forest rangers. She kept on hunting small preys by herself, even when she was 19. Uh, but clearly, that was not enough to keep her alive. So rangers started giving her food, while Machali mostly denied. On her final day, she was too weak to move, and as one of the longest living tigers in the wild, Machali couldn't have a more dramatic end. Everyone got to know that she was counting her last few breaths, so people gathered around her. Machali raised her neck proudly for one last time and gave a glance to everyone, including the camera, before finally getting inside bush. She was estimated to have generated approximately 10 million US dollar per year in tourism revenue for India. One tigress. Such was her popularity and attraction. Similarly, a cancerous tumor on Arrowhead's hind legs eventually blunted her hunting prowess, uh, which led forest officials to offer her and her three cubs live bets. These three cubs were born into after Riddhi and Siddhi, who were from the second litter. And Arrowhead used to move with these cubs in the Nalghati forest area, which is a leopard zone. Many believed that those cubs were killed by leopard when they could not locate them for several months. But Arrowhead loved her cubs fiercely and protected them. Artificial feeding of wild tigers is generally discouraged, even for injured or old tigers, as it can disrupt natural selection and can lead to other issues like habituation to humans. It goes against the basic tenets of conservation, but unfortunately, this become a common practice in certain popular tiger reserves in India. The National Tiger Conservation Authority's standard selecting procedure is that it is not advisable at all. This fundamental precept of nature seems to be lost on wildlife officials in several parts of the country. The problem is not just limited to providing food to infirm animals. It's not uncommon today for wildlife authorities to nurse animals injured in territorial fights or medically care for tigers who are past their prime. This goes against nature's way of managing tiger demographics. Now, what happened? Arrowhead's cubs, now subadults, were deemed a threat to human safety after they killed three people in May, and they were relocated. These cubs were baited in human dense areas by forest authorities. And when mishap took place, they wanted to relocate in the guise of redistributing tiger population. The decision came in the wake of a tragic incident on 11th May when a forest ranger was killed, fatally attacked inside Ranthambore National Park. Officials suspected that the same tiger actually had been responsible for the death of a 7-year-old on 16th April in a nearby area. Preliminary investigation pointed that Arrowhead's 20 months old cub was likely to be involved. Many considered that she got mentally broken finally when her cubs were separated, even though the tumor was the reason for her death. Arrowhead died merely hours after her daughter Kankati was tranquilized and relocated to the Mukundra Hills Tiger Reserve. Same day. In contrast to Machali, she didn't go for the one final hurrah, but she killed a magar crocodile 2 days back. She died with her astonishing skill in this condition. She perfectly lived up to what Dylan Thomas said. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the burning of the light. Actually, Arrowhead didn't die. She became too big for Ranthambore to hold anymore. And in that suspended breath of time, the whole forest fell silent with a golden hue of grief.